In 2022, when you think of a global pandemic, you think of COVID-19. But today I'm going to talk about the real global pandemic, human trafficking. The Federal Bureau of Investigations defines human trafficking as the legal exploitation of a person. This exploitation can be for many causes. Here are the most common causes, which are labor trafficking, sex trafficking, and child labor trafficking. These crimes make up about 24.9 million victims worldwide. And here you can see how it's broken down into the most common, which would be labor trafficking, makes up 64% of these victims, 19% of these victims are for sex trafficking, and the 17% are trafficked for state-imposed labor. Human trafficking is one of the largest criminal enterprises in the world, generating over $150 billion a year. This number the number of victims has just continued to increase from 2018 to 2019. You can see the right around 1,000 persons increase in just reported cases. And to keep in mind, this is reported cases. A lot of human trafficking goes unreported. 20% increase has happened since the onset of COVID-19. A study done by Polaris had revealed that this 20% increase. Human trafficking is an ever-growing issue around the globe. It's often overlooked and understudied, and since COVID-19 has started, it has only made identifying these victims even more difficult while creating more vulnerable people. With COVID-19, a lot of people lost their homes, they lost their jobs, and this just creates the same things, the things that you would look for in trafficked victims are some of the same things that you're seeing with people who have suffered the losses from COVID-19. There are many local, state, and federal entities working together to try to stop human trafficking altogether. The U.S. Department of Transportation has taken many steps, as stated here by the Secretary of Transportation, Elaine Chao. The U.S. Department of Transportation is committed to working with our public and private partners to fight human trafficking on America's transportation system. This is a big deal because the transportation systems in America naturally are going to be used for these things. If we can at least put a dent in the way that victims are transported in our country, then we can help combat human trafficking. Doctors and nurses have gone through a lot of training, as well as hopefully seeing more training in law enforcement. The training, as you can see here, is based on knowing the signs, knowing what to look for to determine whether someone may be a victim of human trafficking. Some of these signs are branding, scars, burns, or tattoos, malnourishment, reluctant to discuss injuries, and then a bunch of here are the medical issues that would be, something that the nurses and doctors would look for, such as pelvic pain, rectal trauma, a lot of visits from the same person, or males coming with females to the doctor, not allowing them to speak, those type of things. While all of this training is very helpful in combating human trafficking, here you can see the National Action Plan to Combat Human Trafficking and Slavery has their 4 pillars of what their plan is in order to help combat this, which is prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnerships. There's a lot of training available to anyone who would like to, become more knowledgeable in order to help stop this, stop the exploitation of everyone. This training is brought to you by SOAR. They're nationally recognized and accredited training program delivered by the National Human Trafficking Training and Technical Assistance Center. They teach professionals how to identify and to respond to human trafficking in their field. So they'll teach doctors and nurses what they can look for, as well as law enforcement, because there are going to be different things that we see as professionals with each victim. Another helpful training class is Mississippi Human Trafficking Council. They offer their investigations offers human trafficking training in Mississippi. These are important tools that you don't see as a professional. I found these by looking these up. However, these are not talked about. They're not, pushed out to agencies. And I believe that is a problem whenever it comes to combating human trafficking, because I saw their program. It has been proven to be very helpful. 90% of officers who have took part in this class said that they felt very much more knowledgeable in, determining if they may be in contact with the human trafficking victim. There's many support lines, such as telephone, text, email, online. Another problem with these, however, that I see is that while we know these are available because we get to use our phones, that these are not talked about and shared and posted where victims themselves can see these. Because if you think about it, these human trafficking victims do not have the tools and the resources that we have in order to find these resources. So as people who want to help, those who have the opportunities to fight human trafficking, we need to make sure these are in better view, noticeable, that when you pass these signs with these types of resources on this, that you know what you're looking at, so that hopefully it helps to save someone. Here is just a map. You can see that where the higher concentration of human trafficking takes place, right here along the West Coast, Florida, along the East Coast, mainly along the coast. As I've shown, it is a growing issue across the world. However, by ensuring that officers and civilians are trained properly and have the tools that are available out there in order to help victims, we can work together toward putting an end to this nightmare for many. Without the active help from every single one of us, we only put our friends, our daughters, and our families in danger. Thank you.